edition of Greauxing Pains. Over here is the lovely and Channel 310 staff member and star of her own show, Lila Hart, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Lila.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh my gosh, girl. Of course I have you on, girl. You are so conveniently located, girl. Of course. Yes.
Out here in the
And
studio.
like us stars right here. Thank you. Well, first of all, I thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time to be on the show, Greauxing Pains and everything. How are you feeling today, girl?
Great. I'm feeling fabulous. You know, I just tried to meet Marie Kondo, my room.
What is that? Because you told me about Marie Kondo, and then I was like, is that like a building? Is that what they're building over in Silver Lake? What is
No,
that?
she's this, Marie Kondo, she's this cute little Asian woman who is really good at cleaning, and she helps people clean their houses. She wrote a couple of books, and now she has a show on Netflix, so I binge watched the Netflix show, and basically what you're supposed to do is you take everything out of your closet, all the clothes, pile them up on your bed, and then you pick each item individually, and you're like, what sparks joy? If this sparks joy in my life, you keep it. If it doesn't, you discard it.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds great in theory.
No,
you know, like,
it
throw all my
does.
stuff on the bed, but now I gotta put it all back. I got that part.
Yeah, because see, that, I was like, that sounds like what I need to do, but then I'm like, oh yeah, that's the part. You're like, oh, now I gotta actually go through this. It's like when you take it out of the closet, you have to commit. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
But you know what? I did part of it. Still have to organize a little bit more, but it felt good. It felt really good. I feel like as I was cleaning, you know, fresh ideas were coming into my mind, and it's just good to get in that organizational mode. I mean, I listen to a lot of Jordan Peterson stuff too, and he's like, clean your room if you want to clean your life.
Yeah.
Like have a better life. So starts at home.
That's good. So like, so creatively, you feel like even just like, you know, from what the portion you've done, you feel like already.
Oh
things
yeah,
are-
absolutely.
And that's the whole purpose of it, right? It's like, you know, to declutter, right? And just
Exactly.
to bring new stuff in. Girl, good for you. Like, you inspiring me. I'll do that in the spring when
This
when
spring cleaning, I don't know.
I'll do that when I'm not when I'm allowed to drink again. I'm doing dry January. I don't think I can clean it and do something like that. Just because there's a lot of dust and mystery and stuff, and but I commend you. That takes balls.
Thank you. I'm just, you know, following the trend on Netflix right now.
Okay.
Hashtag Marie Kondo.
Marie Kondo, girl.
Spark joy.
Okay. Sparked it up, and I wanted to ask you. Okay, so first of all, of course, you have your own show on Channel 310, Small Talk, which I have been a guest on, had a great time on it. But just for the people who've been living under a rock and don't know anything about, just tell us a little bit about where you're from, and then, you know, your like journey to LA. What brought you to this fair city?
Well, great.
Yeah.
So I'm originally from Seattle, Washington. Well, okay, it's actually Marysville, Washington, but I say Seattle. And I graduated from Washington State University in 2013, and then so I have a degree in broadcast production with a minor in political science. And originally, I always wanted to be a news anchor because behind a news desk, if I was sitting like this, you'd have no idea that I was 4'6", and I just thought that would be the route to go. You know, like I loved being on camera.
Hidden journalism.
Hidden journalism, right? But that was literally my mindset. I was like, oh, behind the news desk, ain't nobody gonna know that I'm small. That's what that was my thought. And then I'd be like, surprise, bitch.
Surprise!
But when I graduated, I decided that I didn't really want to move into a town in the middle of nowhere, because that's where you have to start, you know, news reporting. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to LA and be a star. And came on out here. And I started going to different auditions, but then I realized that, you know, every time I'd show up at an audition, on an audition, I wouldn't actually put my height, because I would just show my headshot and work with this. And it wasn't until I went to a couple comedy shows and I had this realization. I was like, oh my God, comedy, this is what I have to do. If I want to get on TV, I have to do stand-up, because that's how people will write in parts for me. Otherwise, you know, no one's gonna hire me as a 4'6" love interest. I'm gonna have to write it for myself, you know. So
that is a story, girl. I feel like you just told like that story really is a lot, but you gave me the cliff notes, and I'm like, dang, girl, that is a story, girl. You got, but you're here. I'm glad you're here. We're all very glad you're here in LA, and I mean, the purpose, like, you know, on this segment, of course, Greauxing Pains is just because, like, of course, we've all been through we've all been through a variety of things, and I just really would love for you to share just a little bit, because the whole purpose is on this part of the show is I want people to watch this and if they're going through something, I want them to feel like, you know what, they went through that and they've gone through that and they survived it and they thrived, and so would you like, is there anything like, it could be like a moment or a specific time or an instant or something that you just experienced where you're like, you know what, that was really hard when I went through that, but I'm on the other side of it now and I know the lesson and I'm thriving from it,
Oh, absolutely. I think that, number one for me, actually just specifically, if you want to, like, when you ask me for a moment, around this time 2 years ago, I was in the hospital for about a month, and I had I had just a stomach pain, and I remember going into this like Planned Parenthood. I was like, I got like a stomach pain, because it was like, one of those free health clinics, like those kind of places.
Go where it's free.
And the girl, she did an ultrasound thing, and she's like, you got a cyst on your stomach, like a cyst on one of your ovaries, and if this thing erupts, it could kill you. So you should go to the ER. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, I don't really have like a lot of money. Like, I didn't have like healthcare at the time, and I remember like sitting there crying in the office, like, well, I don't have the money for this. Should I do it? And then I had this moment like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Girl,
like, you need to go
get
to
the hospital.
Like, why are you sitting here thinking about like how much is it gonna cost already? Whatever.
Send me the bill, okay?
Oh God. I was there. I had an emergency surgery, and they took out the cyst. And my mom was there, and I was there for about a month, okay? And I hadn't been in the hospital. The last time was when I was 14, because I also have spina bifida and scoliosis, congenital birth defect, all of that shit. So I had a lot of surgeries growing up. But this last time was different, because, it was unrelated to my spina bifida. Having a surgery when you're like an adult and you can really understand like what's going on.
Yeah.
It was this moment in life where like I felt like I was like on the go, and then I had to be forced to like just like sit back and not do anything, just to heal my body. And I had a lot of time to like just really reflect on my life. And I think that sometimes, I sit here and ask all day, like, why did these things happen to me? But in order to have that appreciation and that gratefulness, sometimes you gotta get knocked down a little bit, and I just think that going through that like emergency time, and it really made me realize like who was there for me, and it brought me my mom really close. My mom is my best friend, but
I love your mom. Can I just say, like, she's like always on any channel 310 or any like of our photos, and she is like liking away, like saying, good job or go for it, and I'm just like, yeah, she's like this pseudo mom. She is a sweetheart. She's the best.
Shout out to Esper Hart on Instagram.
Hey Esper.
She loves it. She'll be like, oh my god, you guys give me a shout out. She's the best. But that month with my mom, like, it was really weird, because I was 25. Yeah, I was 25 at the time, and it was like I spent a month with my mom for 24 hours a day for a month, and it was like, oh, I hadn't had this much time with my mom since I was a child. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 25 years old, and my mom was with me. It has to, like, she's basically taking care of me, because I couldn't do anything on my own at all, and I was in so much pain, and it brought me and my mom really, really close, so in a way, like, I'm grateful for that situation, because I got to have that like month-long time with my mom, and I had to like relearn how to walk, because there was a little bit of like complications and stuff, and because of having the spina bifida and just how my nerve endings and stuff work, it was a very scary time, but it made me like sit back and reflect, and be grateful for what I do have and what I can do, and that's like it's so perfect for comedy, because what do we do in comedy? The best thing about being a comedian is that we have this opportunity to get on stage and, speak your truth. And the best comedy comes from your truth telling and the pains that we go through. So, in life, you're going to face adversity and go through pains, but it's like when you get to the other side of that, and what lessons can you learn and take from that?
I think that really speaks to the power of like love too, like love being healing, because like, it's like, I think especially when you go through something traumatic like that, it's like you need people around you that really love you, because like that really, like that energy and them loving up on you, it's like that's a huge part of your healing too, I'm sure. I'm glad you and your mom were able to get, even closer through that. That's, again, you went through that. You are definitely a survivor, of course, and like you fucking kick ass every day. Like, I mean, it's just like, because I remember 2 years ago when you were going through that, and like I'd see your posts, and you would still be like in the hospital, but you had a smile on your face, and you're still posting positivity and like positive like memes and positive quotes, and I was just like, wow, this girl is like really going through it. But I didn't even know all the details. Like, I didn't know it was like that detailed of all the things you went through, and found out Planned Parenthood too. Like,
I know
that was
girl.
like
that was a whole other thing too, because I ended up when I went to the ER, and I went in there, and I was like, well, this health clinic told me I should come here. Like, well, are you in pain? I'm like, not really. I was a couple of days ago, and I had to argue with the lady. I'm like, she told me I was gonna die, and I come here. Like, somebody needs to listen to me. So then when they end up doing the ultrasound there, and like, after they did that, a doctor came running through the halls. I remember, like, he's like, we're prepping you for surgery now. So I only have one ovary, and that was really scary too, because I just remember like being in the hospital gown, like FaceTime mom, like, you need to fly down here, I'm gonna have this surgery. They don't know if they can save the ovary, and like, you could still have children with one ovary. I'm like, but goddamn, I already have spina bifida, like, why are we adding all this on top of it too? Like, but it just really, that's what really pushed me to decide, like, okay, I'm gonna take care of my body. And I'm really gonna take care of my health. And I stopped drinking not long after that, and just made a bunch of health changes that I don't think I would have made had I not gone through that.
Yeah.
I think even though I have spina bifida and scoliosis, and I've had 7 major back operations, all of that, like, I kind of, after I turned like 18 and I didn't have any more operations related to my spina bifida, I developed this like mindset of like, well, I already went through that, like, I'm good, like, I have this. And having that happen to me at 25, being back in the hospital for something totally different, like, it just really made a shift in me and made me more decide to be like, okay, more grateful for my body and what I can do, and just, it's like I say, your body's your temple, take care of it.
Yeah, because because at the end of the day, it's like life happens, but we do have control over what we do have control over. It's kind of like, it's like you saw that, and a lot of people could have like gone through that and maybe reacted differently, but you decided to be like, no, I survived this, but I'm gonna like really live and like work to live. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's
and the worst part about it is, so I had this surgery, and then I was in the hospital for about 4 or 5 days, and then they let me go home. And I go home, and I was having this pain in the back of my leg. The doctors didn't say anything about the pain. They didn't give me any, like, they just basically said, take these painkillers, get rest, and you should be good. But I was having this pain, and my mom would, like, massage my leg and put, like, a heating pad over it, but the pain was just so persistent. So my mom liked to go to the grocery store, and I was just, playing MD on Google, and it talked about blood clot, and how a blood clot could break off, travel to your lung, and kill you. And I was like, you know what? I think I got a blood clot. I really believe that this is a blood clot. My mom gets home from the grocery store. We call an Uber. I get to the ER, and I'm like, there's a blood clot in my leg. They're like, well, how'd you know that? And I was like, I just really believe that there is. And lo and behold, there was.
Wow. So you had to trust your gut.
I had to trust it. So, and that's also the thing, too. It's like, I know we look up, like, oh, my God, and it says you have cancer and all this thing online because you get all nervous, like, looking up stuff. But sometimes it is necessary to look up this stuff, because I saved my own life by being proactive in that moment, and just going in. But that was really scary, too.
But, and that's, I think, and I'm sure that's, of course, helped you in your art to just as far as trusting yourself, because that's a big, because it's scary, especially with health stuff. It's scary to be like, trust your intuition, be like, no, I know my body, I know that something's off, and to be able to go and be like, no, like, it's okay to be like, no, I trust myself enough to know that something needs attention.
And that's exactly what we have to do on stage. You have to trust your gut in those moments when you decide to make to try a new joke, or to be in the moment, interact with the crowd or a heckler or something. You have to trust your gut on what to say. Yeah. So it goes hand in hand. I believe so too.
Lila, you are fantastic as always. Please, any upcoming things over the next few weeks, months you want to share, or social?
Well, just be sure to check out Small Talk.
Of
we
course.
have an episode here with Chelse, and it's a great one. You get to know her even more than you do on this show too.
Yes, there's some layers
behind all of this. But we're just so happy to have you as part of one of the leaders on Channel 310.
Girl, I'm just happy that I love this 310 love. You know, we out here representing. And guys, this has been another edition of Greauxing Pains. Oh, and of course, follow Channel 310, but also please try out follow Lila Hart. You want to shout out your socials one more time?
Yeah, at Love Lila Hart, LOVELILAHART on all social media platforms.
Oh, and you have our boot game, girl. You got them sick shoes, the boot game. Yes. Hold on, we got it.
Really quick, could you talk about Goon Squad?
Oh yes! Oh my gosh, duh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to that.
Duh, and yes, yeah, and also please check out Goon Squad Sketch Show. The pilot episode is available on YouTube on the Channel 310 page. Guys, this sketch show is hilarious. Like the whole Channel 310 team participated, and we just put together like it's hilarious. Like sketches like that push the envelope, but definitely I literally was at home when we premiered the episode and watched it and was eating chips and smoking weed and getting my life and laughing. Okay, I was like watching this show like this was on Netflix. I was like, oh, this show good. I was like, oh wait, this is our show. I was like, oh wait, oh snap. You watched some stuff you did. I was like, oh wait, this is good. Okay.
It was good.
So check out Goon Squad Sketch Show for real. Of course, everyone's on there. Niles Abston, Eric Nnete, Roger Lopez, Victor Martinez, Lila Hart, Chelse Greaux. Everybody's on there. Check that out. And guys, this has been another edition of Greauxing Pains. Much love. Namaste. We'll be back. Welcome back to another segment of Greaux Money.
I like that.
Yeah, I can really sing, but I don't feel like, breaking the camera.
Girl, you
know?
can't do everything. You hosting
Can't
shows.
do
You
everything.
can't be just,
Singing
singing on them
you
like
ain't
that,
one of these
girl.
vocals, you gotta cut that check. Hello. And
Speaking of checks.
Speaking of checks,
Right?
okay, we're back again with the lovely Nnete,
Hey.
our financial goddess, getting
I'll
us
take
together.
that. Financial goddess.
Okay, yeah, I finally got the reference right.
I will take that right. I will take that.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The G of the finance.
Okay, that's what we do. Okay,
Yeah.
that works.
Cool. So we were talking about, we started talking about taxes last week.
Yes.
Which, we were discussing like filing and write-offs, but now I wanted to expound on that to like a little bit more because, again, there's a lot of people who are moving to a point where they're working for themselves and making more money, like whether it's in a freelance capacity, starting their own business and so forth. But you're saying that, because I always was under the impression that you had to make a certain amount of money in that field. Like I was told if you're an actor, for example, that you have to make, I don't know, like $10 or $15 or $20,000 a year minimum as an actor directly in order to file. But is that necessarily true, or is that kind of misinformation?
Okay, it's okay, so this is what it is. It's like, first of all, because tax is so convoluted. When you're first starting off another type of job that's maybe not be your main income, like, okay, comics, we ain't making a lot of money right now, but it takes a lot of money, these drink minimums to pay at these places so you can get up and actually practice your art, and all of those things can be written off. At this time, it's not necessary for me to have my own LLC or my own, Inc. incorporated and all that kind of stuff.
And those are just different titles for business.
Different type of business entities that you file. Like if you're going to file a separate tax return kind of with your business entity that's separate. That's a whole we ain't there yet. We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Yeah, so
right now they would consider, comedy, it's kind of like a hobby. It's because you get some side money here and there, but it's not enough to sustain you. So in your taxes, because most of us are just filing a 1040 or a 1040 easy, first of all. Like that's like a simple tax return. In there, you ask for a Schedule C, and that's when they're asking for any other incomes. And so it's like, I might have, made $500-600 from comedy because you just don't get a lot in LA just doing these little spots. However, to look good, to, practice 3-4 times a week, that's where you're going to put all those write-offs at. It's under a Schedule C in your actual tax return from however you make your regular money, your main money.
And so Schedule C, that's like one of the boxes, right? Or
Yeah, it's actually, it's not a section.
Section.
It's like a section.
Sorry,
yeah.
section.
It'll ask you if you're using any of these like TurboTax or anything like that, which we need to go ahead and get so we done said TurboTax a million times.
Okay,
TurboTax,
cut the check.
Okay, and I use Free Tax USA, so first of all, I'm tripping.
Okay. All y'all.
But yeah, like they'll ask you, after you put in all your W-2s, you put in all your 1099s and all that, they'll be like, well, did you earn any any additional type of income from whatever. And so that's where you're like Schedule C, and I'm like, oh, comedian actress, Schedule C. Oh, at one time Airbnb host, oh, Schedule C, and then they'll start from there on each Schedule C. How much did you earn from there? And then what are all your write-offs for that business? And that's how you get the maximization of your write-offs.
So then that makes sense. So then this could go for like tons of different examples.
Absolutely.
And
they have numbers. They have codes for that.
So you're okay. So now, for example, say I have a 9-to-5 job, right? I have a 9-to-5 job Monday through Friday, but I use my own car to drive for Lyft or Uber, for example, maybe or Postmates or Grubhub or anything like that.
Yeah.
But maybe you only use your car on the weekends, and that's supplemental income. May not be enough to sustain you, but because you're not doing it like that often, or maybe at a high frequency.
Yeah. And you also don't get a W-2 or usually a 1099 from that. You get like your yearly earnings report. This is my first time doing like Lyft, because I hustle on New Year's Eve. Woo. Girl, I got some money. So, but throughout the year, all I did was create a Schedule C within my regular taxes, and that was like, okay, this was for Lyft rideshare, and I wrote off like I had to get like my wheel bearings done. I have a monthly wash club because I drive from time to time, so that fee gets taken out. The mileage, anything. I feel like I did something else with like my vehicle, like some kind of maintenance that needed to be done, and
like
all
oil
that.
changes.
My car is once a year though, so it's weird. It's a big chunk once you find. Yeah, them foreign cars. It's a big chunk. So at that time, I put all of that in there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So then the C is this now when the C.
It's called a Schedule C.
Schedule C. That's basically what you can do. So and that's where you add any. That's where you can put supplemental income that you're making, and it doesn't matter if it's like even if it's just $300 in a year, you can still
because if you still have write-offs for that. For instance, I know for like Airbnb, when I was Airbnb this duplex and everything too. By the time I had all my income there, but because I was doing Airbnb, portion of my rent was considered a write-off because I had to pay rent for the place. I didn't own the place, and in order for me to do Airbnb, I had to pay rent to have a place to do it at. So and this is you can find online write-offs for Airbnb people, because that's what I do. I'll pull up 3 or 4 articles and see every single write-off I can possibly take, tally it all up, and then put them all in. And by the time I was done, I got to live damn near for free. But I made I think negative $400. Okay, great.
But
I got I still got a great refund.
Wow.
Because you just have to write it off. And I'm telling you, that's why them people up in the White House be having all this money.
Okay.
And they not paying taxes.
They write off breath.
They write no.
They be like breath, $20.
They figured that stuff out.
Wow.
They figure it out.
And one last example, just because I just thought about this. My mother, she makes money. People pay her to style their weddings and their baby showers and stuff like that. But when
she's an event planner.
So she's an event planner. So but my mother, has a full-time job with the government. Well, clearly she's on a break. But she works to that, and so when she does this, so this is another source of income for her. So and she has actually a studio in her house where she creates all of her floral arrangements and all of her styling, and even will have meetings with clients there, so she can write that stuff. I don't know if Mama, we'll talk, but
you don't know her business and what she's doing.
But honestly though, because I'm sure that my mom's a lot of. People have parents that are maybe older, more in that retired age, but they are still have a supplemental source of income.
And so that she would do a Schedule C event planner. Again, there's so many different. There are different codes and everything that you put under there, and they'll show you. They'll okay, what are you doing, and they'll give you an option for that. Put that code in, and then now you have write-offs. Maybe she earned an extra. Let's just say she earned an extra $5,000 over the whole year. She earned $5,000, but to do all of that, she has a certain square footage in her home, which you'll figure out the percentage. I hate doing square footage stuff, but you figure it out because you need that write-off.
Right.
Then now a portion of her internet gets written off, a portion of her cell phone bill gets written off, because all of those things she uses to do her business.
Girl, you're just showing us where the money is at. The money is in the nooks and the crevices.
Yes, and just keeping good records. That's why, again, I suggest using like either a debit card or one credit card that you're going to pay off at the end of the month to do all of your business on, because then it just creates a nice digital log for you of everything you purchase for the entire year. You can go through with highlighters. This is all the parking. This is all this and that, whatever.
What?
Yeah, it just organizes you in a way.
This is how Whitney felt at the end of Way to Excel. Okay, this is when Angela finally accepted the divorce.
Okay.
Like, it's just like after she set the car on fire.
Okay,
I'm like, I feel so much lighter from that. Okay.
But you just know where you know your situation. It's manageable. All of this stuff is manageable.
I've been even just talking to you. I feel like pounds of stress just lifting off my shoulders, and I really hope that those of you watching that you're feeling that way too, because this
is be all right.
It's
gonna be all right.
We're gonna see you next week. Yes. Believe it or not, listen, tax is a loaded subject, and next week we got to continue this. But we're gonna be talking about how to manage your refund.
Once you get your money.
Once you get your money, how to not jack it up.
Okay.
Which, let's be honest.
Let's make some smart decisions.
Okay, don't plan.
Let's make some
you don't
smart
need to go
decisions.
You don't need to buy spring break, go to spring break and be the baller. Like, no. Like, so.
Okay, unless you got enough.
We'll talk.
We'll talk.
So that's going to be up next week. As always, thank you, Nnete, for being here and giving us this advice. You can follow her on social media at Nnete. That's at Nnete.
Yep.
This has been another edition of Greaux Money, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back. We're back for another edition of Greaux Up, and Trump. I'm just going to get into it because this is the thing. Trump is our president, very, very unfortunately, and this is an example. Like, Trump is an example of what happens when someone grows up in an extremely privileged lifestyle and then they get into a position of power. They're not used to hearing the word no. So here we are, and Trump is still insistent on getting his wall built, right? Because he's a boy and he needs his toy to play with, and he wants it to be a wall between Mexico and American border, and he wants to spend billions of dollars on it, billions with a B. And forget about the fact that Flint still doesn't have clean water. Forget about the fact that there are literally immigrant children dying at the border. Forget all that. I want my wall, and it's really asinine to me because he's throwing a tantrum because he never grew up. We have to remember, Trump never had to be an adult. He's always had a get out of jail free card. He's always had a skate out of here, Scotty. He's always been good. And so now here we are in 2019. The government's been shut down for weeks at this point. And honestly, I really feel sorry for those of you who are out there. I'm from that area too. I'm from that DC area. And the majority of that cluster, they make their money. They drive into DC and make their money working for the government, and for it to be shut down means people are just bouncing out here broke. People got rent to pay. People got, all the bills. People got kids, Pampers, people want to buy Jordans. You know how many dudes work for the government that have been like, oh, I'm about to get these J's, and now they can't get their J's because the government is shut down and they're not getting paid. And Trump's just out here chilling, eating McDonald's, eating top shelf McDonald's, and just throwing a tantrum. And I really think that he needs to grow up yet again. I mean, he needs to grow up in so many ways, but this is just too far. Shutting down the government and then threatening. Now he's threatening, oh, we're going to be shut down for I don't know, maybe months and maybe years or maybe not. And let's not all forget that this is a big distraction, okay? Because I think the American public needs to grow up as well and realize that don't always think that what Trump's doing is really what's happening, okay? Don't forget that the Mueller investigation is going on. Things are heating up with that. And so honestly, I think this is just a big distraction, which makes it even worse because it's a distraction that's costing people money. And anybody that's out here still supporting Trump, you might as well support R. Kelly, honestly. If you're supporting Trump, they're in the same category in my mind. Trump and R. Kelly, they're both assaulting people at an exorbitant rate, okay? So Trump's assaulting people's paychecks. He's assaulting people's lifestyles and livelihoods. And I just think that everybody needs to grow up in that situation, particularly Trump. And so, guys, just the upcoming re-elections, I don't care who you vote for, as long as it's not him. I'd rather you vote for a goat. Write in your pet. Write in your dog. My little dog, Tracy T. Write your dog in. Write anybody in. Because electing him or re-electing him at this point, it's just, it's whack. It's late. It's, what do the gays say? It's late. It's tardy. It's over. Okay, so that concludes this week's Grow Up. I'll see you guys next week. Don't vote for Trump again, and be woke. Cheers. Bye.